Previously, we saw Yuta stab Yuji through the chest, seemingly killing him. We also catch a glimpse of Sukuna inside Yuji's domain. Meanwhile, Naoya uses his incredible speed to overwhelm Choso. Choso struggles to keep up with the technique, but despite the heavy beating, he refuses to stay down. Naoya mocks his persistence, asking what he actually is. Choso replies that he is the eldest of 10 siblings. He then activates Flowing Red Scale, a technique that enhances his vision enough to track Naoya's movements. As Naoya lunges in again, Choso nearly catches him, but Naoya manages to stab him in the stomach. Naoya remarks that he had to resort to a weapon because Choso is so stubborn. He taunts Choso, saying that since he's a blood manipulator, he should have no trouble stopping the leak. He insults other sorcerers who rely on tools, calling his own brothers shameless for doing so. He even mentions how they used to disrespect Toji. Choso asks if Naoya truly hates his brothers. Naoya confirms, stating that any older brother weaker than his younger siblings is a disgrace. Choso counters, suggesting that Naoya is only this powerful because of the path his brothers paved. He explains that an older brother is a role model. They set the example for the younger ones to follow or avoid. Choso claims his own strength comes from the lack of a role model, forcing him to be the one who leads. Naoya notices that Choso has allowed his blood to coat the entire area. Choso declares that as the eldest, he must always stay ahead. Suddenly, a massive wave of blood erupts. Naoya is baffled that Choso can still fight after losing so much blood. He is unaware that Choso is a death-painting womb, a hybrid that can convert cursed energy directly into blood. As long as his energy holds, he won't bleed out. Naoya tries to evade, but his feet get caught in the blood, which has become as viscous as glue. Choso seizes the opening to fire a piercing blood attack. Naoya attempts to use his 24 FPS technique to escape, but he's caught off guard by Choso's Supernova, a move perfected over 150 years. The attack hits from every angle. Just as Choso prepares for the finishing blow, Yuta appears behind him and knocks him out with a single punch. Yuta is seen dragging Yuji's lifeless body. Naoya begins to retch. Because Choso isn't fully human, his blood acts as a toxin. Yuta offers to heal him with his reverse curse technique. However, there's a catch. Naoya must report back to the authorities and confirm that Yuta successfully executed Yuji. We then see a vision of Yuji's infancy. He sees his father, Jin, being scolded by his grandfather, Wasuke. Wasuke warns Jin to stay away from that woman, or it will be his end. Jin tells him to stop such talk in front of the baby. Wasuke mentions Jin's desire for a child and brings up Kaori's death, just as a woman with stitches on her forehead, Yuji's mother, enters the room. Yuji wakes up to find Yuta sitting by a fire. Yuta explains that months ago, Gojo asked him to watch over the students in case anything happened to him. The entire fight was a charade. Gojo had specifically asked Yuta to look after Yuji, noting that they had both faced execution before. Yuji asks how he survived the stab wound. Yuta reveals he used a binding vow with the higher-ups to prove his intent to kill, but used his reverse curse technique to restart Yuji's heart the moment it stopped. To the rest of the world, Yuji Itadori is officially dead. When Yuji asks why Yuta would go to such lengths, Yuta explains that he relates to the burden of carrying a power that isn't his own. Suddenly, Megumi arrives and tells Yuji they need to return to Jujutsu High. Yuji hesitates, burdened by the guilt of the lives lost during the Shibuya incident. Megumi tells him they're not heroes, they're sorcerers, and they must keep moving to find meaning in their work. He reveals that Kenjaku has initiated the Culling Game, a deadly battle royale for sorcerers. To make matters worse, Megumi's sister, Tsumiki, has been forced into the game. Megumi pleads for Yuji's help. The rules of the Culling Game are explained. Players must declare participation within 19 days, and breaking rules results in the forfeiture of their cursed technique and death. Players earn points by killing others, 5 points for a sorcerer and 1 for a non-sorcerer. Yuji agrees to help, but makes Yuta a promise to kill him immediately if Sukuna ever takes control again. Yuta agrees. Megumi explains the plan. They must find Master Tengen to learn how to unseal Gojo and discover Kenjaku's true endgame for the culling game. Yuji asks if Yuki Tsukumori is aware of the plan. Megumi confirms it was actually her idea and she is already at the school. Yuji worries about navigating Tengen's barrier, which contains 1,000 rotating doors with only one leading to the tomb of the Star Corridor. Yuji then asks the question he's been dreading. What about Nobara? Megumi remains silent and looks away. Yuji realizes she didn't make it and hangs his head in grief. Choso interrupts, claiming he can guide them through the barrier. He explains that he can sense the cursed energy of the remaining death paintings stored in the school. The group enters the school and meets Maki, who is heavily scarred from her encounter with Jogo, but still standing. Yuki joins them as well. Choso explains that he can track the location of his 6 brothers' remains stored in the school's vault. When Maki asks who the weird guy is, Yuji simply introduces Choso as his older brother, much to Choso's delight. Choso leads them to the Star Corridor, passing the spot where Riko Amana was killed 12 years ago. Yuki notes that the current chaos can be traced back to that specific event. They enter a vast, white void. Yuki explains that Tengen only reveals himself when he chooses to. Just as they turn to leave, Master Tengen appears and greets them. He recognizes each of them, the child of the Zenin clan, the descendant of Michizane, the death painting, and the vessel of Sukona. And that's where the episode ends.